Good afternoon. How are we all doing? Happy Wednesday. Who's here? I don't know what's going on. I haven't got my YouTube open. Where's the chat gone? Hang on a minute. I'm so organised today. I've had a really busy day today and I'm not organised at all. Where's the live stream? That one. Whoa, shush me. Let me just go pop out for the chat so I can actually talk to people. How is everybody? Happy Wednesday. Hello, Mumo, Marco, Michael, Fire, David Montoya is back. Afternoon. Hi, my beautiful traders. Gold short, anyone? Just got out. Literally just got out of gold today. I've been holding that short now for 22nd of September. 1 month to the day. Look at that. My first entry was at 1 o'clock on the 22nd of September. And I've just got out today. So I entered here. Break of that high. No, it wasn't. It's further back than that. Hang on. Yeah, 22nd of September. Blimey. Break of that high. It's a break of that high I took. No, it was a break of this high. Sorry, there. That's where I got in. And that's where I've just got out. With a beautiful, but unexpected, 6.7%. Very nice. So, yeah, out. And I have to say, done. It's the first time I've put gold back into my portfolio for position trading for, I would say, 2 years, 3 maybe. And the very, very first trade I took squeezed the hell out of me. And that is why I don't trade gold. So, yeah, I'm not putting it back in the portfolio for position trading. Where's my pen? Hang on a minute. Pen's broke. What's going on? Why can't I do anything? Oh my God, my whole machine's broke. Okay, I've got no pen. And now I can't get rid of that. Go away. Why can't I right click on anything? Give me a sec. Task manager. Boing, there we go. Epic pen. Oh my God, what a go slow today. Kill. Relaunch. Let's see if this works. We're back. Okay, got my pen. So go away. Stop trying to sell me your pen all the time. It's so annoying. Yeah, so it's first time I've been in. So you can probably see what the squeeze was like. It's been painful as hell. I've taken 3% loss on it on the way and took 6% profit on it. So I gained about 3 in the end. But yeah, painful squeeze, that one. Afternoon, Themba. Viserber. I don't know who anybody is now because they've changed the names. Fletch, Flades, Brian. Afternoon. Virginia. How we doing? Johannes was check. Right. ORBs. So lovely profit this morning from gold. Loss from the DAX this morning. So the DAX today, that initial 5-minute candle was huge. So it shorted straight away and stopped out after half an hour or so. Then it took another half an hour to break again. Didn't go anywhere. Came back up inside. So just nothing to do with the DAX today. Gold took the 10-minute ORB, but it took over 40 minutes to break that 10-minute ORB, and then it lovely straight down to target within 15 minutes. And I actually manually took the second part off here because I didn't like the way we bounced here at the lows. I was expecting an accumulation and potentially maybe a little pullback in there. So I decided to take the rest of it off. Wrong decision because it dropped pretty much the same distance again. But, wrong decision. Doesn't matter. Took it off and made the money. So yeah, lovely trade on gold there today. We'll have a look and see if we get an ORB this afternoon as well in the New York session. Just get rid of that buy stop. So we are short on the Nasdaq. No trade on the Dow so far. Range is too small. Nasdaq is good and short. Nothing on gold at the moment, but I think we probably will get one on gold today because it's volatile as you like. So news-wise today, we are on Wednesday. We've had the CPI for the pound this morning. It was a beautiful news trade for those members that came into the academy and did the economic news scalping strategy. That was an absolute textbook today. Pound US dollar, really simple trade off of the strategy today. I've got it drawn on the chart. I took it, I shorted it, made a nice profit, and done. So lovely trade today. Prime example of what we were discussing in the lesson, looking at that range afterwards and finding a simple range. You've got the candles bang in the middle of there. It's such an easy break. And it worked out nicely. I was quite lucky not to get stopped out on it. In fact, if you had a broker with a nasty spread, you probably would have got stopped out on that. I didn't with Robo, but that was very close. But yeah, nice little profit on that today. So we got some decent movement today on the pound. So Euro pound is your only ADR. That one, we had this huge move today on that CPI number straight up to ADR. We got a reversal alert and retest at ADR, and it came screaming back down into 50%, and now it's bouncing. So that is negative for the pound. Whether or not the market is going to sustain that, I don't know. We were forecasting it to go up, and it hasn't. It's been the same. So it hasn't gone down, which is not massively bearish. It's just what we expected before. So you can see the average differential is 0.15. So we've actually got a 0.2 differential there. So it is kind of around about where we would expect it to be. And obviously that's massively sort of bearish long term. As you can see, obviously the pound collapsed quite quickly. So it means those interest rates are likely to come down fairly quick. But whether or not we're going to get a continuation on it, we'll have to wait and see. But you can see, obviously, we are looking potentially like we're going into a V-shaped recovery move here. Waiting for the Bank of England to confirm what that actually means for interest rates. And we haven't had that information from them yet. So BOE didn't really come out and say anything this morning. I'm just scanning through just to see if I missed anything. Yeah, there's nothing on the feeds potentially about interest rates today. The only other thing you got here is obviously our friend gold, who just will not stop moving. So if you were in the live rooms last week, I was talking about this final leg up, this expanded volatility 225 ADR move, where we see at the end of a squeeze, we tend to see an acceleration, an exhaustion move, and reversal. And that's exactly what we got last week. And I said, watch this volatility continue and impact and reversal go in. And we're looking for around about a 50% retracement potentially on this entire leg from August. So we are approaching the shallow pullback level here, 38. So if this is going to be a flag continuation, depending on what happens with the dollar moving forward, you should be watching this low that we pulled back into really here for potential bounce plays back up into some of these propulsion gaps. So gold obviously has been on the biggest rally we've seen forever. I mean, there has never been a rally this strong on gold ever. This is in the record books. This is parabolic. So your move to the downside will be equally parabolic, which is what I was talking about last week, watching for that elevator shaft move, and we got the elevator shaft yesterday, and the elevator shaft is continuing today. So there is potential for this to come straight back down quite a bit further. However, the thing we never ever know is whether or not we are in a flag break continuation leg, or whether we are in a pullback leg, or whether we are going to start a reversal back down into previous range. There's three outcomes that are going to happen. It's going to be one of those three. Your choice, your decision as a trader is which of those are we going to go into. So difficult call. I'm out and I'm staying out. I've had it. I'm trading it on short time frames because I don't give a monkey's where it goes long term, but yeah, it's a squeeze of a lifetime, that one. Chrome's been acting up for me since the outage. Been using Firefox. Oh, really? Yeah, that outage was a nightmare on Monday. Obviously, I lost Zoom, so I couldn't do the member stream. Stopping out on the NASDAQ first leg. Long on gold. The Dow range is in as well. So we're getting ready for an ORB on Dow. What's that line there? That high and that low. I can't select that line. It's exactly where my stop loss is. There we go. Let me just get rid of those. Yeah, so Monday, obviously, I couldn't do the Zoom in the morning because Zoom was down, Amazon Web Services. If any of you are trading with Top Step, which I am, Project X was down. Any broker that uses Project X software, which is kind of the TraderVate equivalent, TradingView equivalent for prop, that all went down. Payouts delayed, evaluations blown, couldn't get out of trades. Nightmare. Luckily, TraderVate, which is the main platform I use, no problems. They don't use Amazon Web Services. So yeah. It's Vitali, is it? Right, okay. Why YouTube shows usernames now? I don't know. It's just bizarre, isn't it? It's so annoying. I don't know why I haven't looked it up, but obviously they've made a change. I haven't changed anything, but everybody's in like stupid names. I don't know who anybody is anymore. Luckily, most of you have used similar names to what you normally call yourself. Brian, I know is Brian. Fletch, I know is Fletch, etc., etc. But some people's names I don't recognise. What's your range for gold in the morning session? 10%. What's my range? 15, sorry. So exactly the same, 15%. I don't want to go lower on gold. If you go lower, what you're going to do is you're going to get stopped out more. So that 10%, 20% is the Goldilocks zone. 15% is a little bit more aggressive. With gold, because it doesn't strictly open at 9:30 and 8 o'clock, if you use tighter ranges, you're likely just to get stopped out and kind of take a pre-market break, which can be whippy. So I leave it at 15. So today's one here, as you can see, that was 280. But a 10% range would have got you in. But what I want to see at the open in London is I want to see within the London Open 15, I want to see some movement. I don't want to see these little candlesticks. Yeah, I want to see some decent range going. And some days it just doesn't do it, and that's fine. I just leave it, and it will suddenly fly at 10:15. Let it go. I'm interested in opening range volatility. I'm not interested in trying to guess what time they're going to dump their orders. It's just not something you can predict, unfortunately. Is ADR the best indicator for measuring volatility? Absolutely. There's a lesson on that in here. ADR. Understand how far price will travel. Okay. So there's no other news today. We got Lagarde's, well, Lagarde's already spoken. She didn't say anything. Need to address fragmentation at VU trading venues. That's literally all she said. So nothing from Lagarde today of any interest. So I just saw something on the video in AMD. Snowflake and Databricks investor. So there's no other news today. Tomorrow, we've got the CAD retail. That's it. So there's no news tomorrow, really. Retail for the Canadian doesn't do a lot. It's just not a leading indicator that we get a lot of impact out of. Watch it, because you probably will get some volatility. But from a news trading perspective, I'm in the wrong account. Logged into the wrong account. I can't see any charts. There's no impact expected off of that. Friday is when we're going to get all the impact. So Friday is manic. We've got CPI for the US dollar. We've got the PMIs coming out. It's just manic. US, Europe, the whole lot on Friday. So that's when we're going to be busy. Oh, and the clocks are changing on Sunday. That's fun, because we all have to adjust our times for all of our EAs. Great. So next week we'll be on at 1:30, not 2:30. Only for a week though. And then when America decides to change its clocks, we'll all go back to 2:30 again. So we're going to go ahead of you guys. So for you guys, we'll be on at 8:30 in the morning. No, hang on. No, we'll be on at 9:30, same time for you. Of course we will, because it's New York Open. But our New York Open changes from 2:30 in the afternoon to 1:30 in the afternoon. And then you change your clocks and we go back to your time again. Why can't we stop doing this? Are we not grown up as a race of beings now to go, do you know what? Let's just leave the clocks alone. It was all done because people, basically in the Dark Ages, in Victorian times and stuff, had candles as lampposts. And you had a little bloke that used to walk around with a big stick and a candle snuffer on the top of it. Yeah. And basically it's for the postmen and people like that go out really early in the morning to make it easier for them to see. We don't care about that anymore. When does your postman ever go out when it's dark? Come on. We've got AI now. Surely we don't need to be doing stuff like this. Anyway, no more trades. We're not broken on the Dow. Gold's looking a bit close. So I've got alerts going off all over the place. I'm going to just talk about a new indicator that I released today for anybody interested in a second. Apart from those ADRs today, there's no RSI extensions that are particularly shocking. It's pound, obviously. So the main extensions you've got today on the 4 hours of the pound CAD, nicely below 20 level there. Really nice level. Previous weekly low, but that is off of a broker candle. We have reacted at it twice though. So we've also invalidated it. So yeah, nice looking potential long, maybe up into there. Market structure is long, obviously, at the moment. So that's not a bad looking long opportunity. Pound New Zealand also extended to the downside, not quite as extended. We've kind of wick tested this initial propulsion gap. I'd rather see it down at a weekly level for a decent rejection. So we'll see what happens with that one. But pound US dollar, that is lovely out of propulsion look. So we came straight down on the news into this propulsion gap. Now this propulsion gap here did not break a previous high, so it's not as strong or reliable as if it had been breaking highs. Like not even that one really. That one is a good one. Broke that low. But we have reacted at it, but we've also reacted at ADR. So this is just gone to its normal average daily range. So there's a potential for you to hit that and drop. So we just don't know which way this pound is going to go, whether it's going to be bullish or bearish. So we'll just have to wait and see what the market reacts to. Euro US dollar is also extended on the 4 hour. Lovely A-shaped recovery on that leg. So high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Yeah, but we might well pull back a little bit before we do that. But if we get down to that weekly low, that will take you below that 20 level. Very, very nice entry point. If we can possibly get down there, that would be great. But it is extended at the moment nicely as well. It's also extended on the hourly. Yeah, so it's good long opportunity on Euro US dollar. And we've got Euro CAD. So Euro CAD and Pound CAD, exactly the same pair. Don't trade both. They're very, very highly correlated. So they're both going to signal at the same time. This is what we were talking about in the Discord channel today. Someone was saying about adding a correlation filter to the position trader EA. So we've got obviously the correlation analysis here, where you can do your correlation filtering basically to find baskets that are not heavily correlated. If you look at these, they very rarely change. That one does. That's US dollar Swiss. But the main highly correlated, because that's not very correlated, that's why it changes. But the highly correlated pairs, you'll find they don't actually change dramatically at all. So there's no point in building filters in. Just pick uncorrelated pairs and trade them. So if you look at the pound CAD and the euro CAD, if I can find it, yeah, 78% correlated. They are always very heavily correlated. So when you're taking a trade on this and you're taking a trade on this in the same direction, there's a 78% probability that they're just going to do the same thing. So all you're doing is doubling your exposure. You're taking the same trade. If you press the buy button here and you press the buy button here, it's going to do the same thing. 78% tolerance. So, it's just no point in taking both. Let's just see what the indices are up to. Okay, long NASDAQ, short Dow. It's going to be one of those days. So yeah, long Nas, short Dow. I hate taking one way, one the other, because they, markets move together. Gold is looking like a nice 3-bar reversal pullback into that previous high. So let's see if we can get a rally out of that. So just today, are you trading gold open morning and afternoon? Yeah. Yeah, basically. It's one of the few instruments that you can trade both sessions, and oil as well. But oil just doesn't move enough. But gold, obviously, when London opens, we have interest in buying and selling gold. When New York opens, we have interest in buying and selling gold. Not specifically because they want to buy and sell gold, but because they're liquidating stocks into other assets. Yeah. So if you sell tons of stock, look at those alerts in a minute. If you sell tons of stock and you don't want to put it into another stock, you need to put it into a safe haven. So you will either liquidate it back into your own currency, or you will put it into Swiss, yen, or gold. So gold moves at opens because there's stock liquidation, which is why some days it doesn't move, because if the markets aren't selling off or rallying hard, there's no reason to push money into or out of commodities like gold. So that's one of the reasons. It's one of those very few things you can trade at both ends of the day, but it is hit and miss. But the thing is, when it's hit, it's really hit. When it's miss, it doesn't do anything. So quite often when it's missed, you don't actually get a breakout, but when it wants to go, it really goes. So it's, this is the thing. It's whether you get that initial movement between that 8 to 8:15 period to form the range big enough to trade. That's the only time you can really take it in the mornings. But one of those things. Speaking of AI, got me this morning. New channel showed up in my feed. Go to 650 and wait for it. Oh, Ryan sent me something. What's this man's voice? Oh my God. Look at his hand. How AI is this man? Watch this guy's hand. His hand went inside of his chin then, look. This is the problem. AI is able to do this sort of thing, but the problem is AI is now learning from AI. So it generates crap, puts crap on the internet, reads its crap and regurgitates its own crap back to you as different crap. And then it regurgitates that crap and back. It's a never-ending feedback loop of crap. Honestly, I don't think it's going to take over the world and kill us all like Terminator. I think it's just going to explode into a pile of shit on the floor. That's what's happening with AI. It's great for coding, but my God, is it creating content? That was funny. I like that one. I almost thought he was real, but there's something wrong with his voice. Wasn't that the first thing I said? What's wrong with this man's voice? He doesn't sound human. Out of NQ short? Yeah, I'm out of NQ short as well. What's the new indicator? I'll have a look. I saw this video and I noticed, yeah. Bizarre, isn't it? I'll have a good read of that. Is that actually a channel? Is that an AI? Because there's these AI channels that keep appearing. 40 comments. Is this AI generated video? The hands keep missing when it goes in front of his face. Yeah. This one, it was great. One, Tom, no BS content, straight to the point with information backed by experience from a successful career. Not a real human being. People fall for it, don't they? These are probably AI generated comments, aren't they? You can probably, there's bots that does all this. Wow. That's all the videos it's got. 29 videos. So it's not real, is it? It's AI channel. You can't believe anything these days, can you? Scary. We're struggling today. Market's not able to really get any traction at the minute. See where we go. Right. So, just a quick overview of the new indicator I've released. It's kind of related to a strategy that I trade, kind of not. Am I real? Yes, because I can read your comments and answer them. Look, my hands don't go through my chin or my cheeks. As you know, I trade price action a lot of the time. I keep getting spammed by this one number AI probably constantly, and it's driving me mad. Sorry, bear with me a sec. It just keeps spamming my phone. So one of the strategies that I trade is price action, and as you probably know, I like to trade 3-bar reversal patterns, which are pushes, pauses, and pulls. I used to, and still do actually, I don't know why I said used to, I do trade also inside bar breakouts as well from a manual perspective, which are a very well-known pattern, and also the 2 inside bar pattern, which is basically a symmetrical triangle. So I have indicators and EAs that I've built in the past to trade those. So I've got the symmetrical triangle indicator, the symmetrical triangle dashboard, and from an EA perspective, the price action toolkit, which is designed to detect and trade inside bar breakouts. Okay. And obviously opening range breakout is normal breakouts, but if you get a 5-minute candle with a 10-minute candle inside it, it's an inside bar breakout, same thing. So there's a strategy out there called The Strat, and it's created by a guy called Rob Smith a decade or so ago. He's an ex-CME trader, so he traded futures, Chicago Mercantile Exchange. So he knows what he's talking about, and basically he trades price action. And the reason I love what he does, and I studied him a long time ago, well, not that long ago actually, but I studied him quite a while ago, was because he resonates with everything that I basically do, which is price action trading. And if you've done the 101 course on the site, you know that in here I talk very much about the 3 strategies. There are only 3, about candlesticks, the 3 outcomes, what price is telling you. So a lot of the stuff I do links in very much with the way that he teaches and what he teaches, which is the same stuff pretty much. And it's price action. So the strat basically revolves around multiple candlestick patterns. There are only 3 types of candlestick, as we know. You can have a bar like that. You can have a bar that's inside. You can have a bar that's outside, or you can have a bar that makes a higher high or a bar that makes a higher low, a lower low. Yeah, it's market structure. That's literally all there is. There is only 3 types of candlestick, which is what I've been going on about for many, 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 many years. So I built myself a inside bar dashboard detector, which I have been using for a while, which is basically just something to pop up and say, it tells me every time there's a 15-minute inside bar. That's literally it. And someone put me back into the strat a few months ago, basically, and sent me all this and said, have you seen this? I was like, yes, yeah, years and years ago. Go for it, follow it. It's brilliant because it's price action. So I decided to develop my dashboard that I built for my own means, which was my inside bar detector. And I've developed it into this because this guy said he wanted a dashboard to detect these patterns. And all this is 3-bar patterns. So these 6 candlestick patterns here are the only things that can possibly ever happen. There is nothing else you can have. You have a 3-1, which is, so basically a 3 is an outside bar. Yeah, so if you've got a bar there, that's called a 3. A 1 is an inside bar. Yeah, because it's inside of that 3. And then you have a 2, which is basically either a higher high, a higher low, and a higher high, or a lower high and a lower low. Yeah, there's nothing else that can possibly happen. That's it. That is trading. That's all there is, isn't there? Yeah. So what this does, this dashboard, is all it does is it detects these for you. So you set up what time frames you want to monitor, and you set up what patterns you want. I only look for literally inside bars. This is what, like I said, this is all I trade. 2 1s and 3 1s, which is inside bars. So I want to see a big outside bar or a normal candlestick, and then I want to see a bar inside that. On the lower time frame, that creates a symmetrical triangle, which will break out into volatility. It's a breakout pattern. Yeah. So what this does is it alerts you to those. So you can click on these little alerts, and it switches immediately to that time frame and chart. So for example, this is a 5-minute Aussie New Zealand. There's a 2. It's gone. There was a 2 down. 2 down 1 inside bar. Yeah, so you take a break of that high and you go for that high. That's the trade. Yeah, so it's basically a very, very simple price action dashboard. But if you trade price action and you're looking for setups, think about my 3-bar reversal pattern that I love so much. Whoops, this one here. Yeah, pull, pause, push. Yeah, what that is, that one is a 2 down, 1, 2 up. Yeah, so the way that these patterns start, these 3-bar reversal patterns, they start with 2 bars, which set up the possibility of the 3rd. So what this does is it detects when there is the 2nd bar formed on a pattern that I'm interested in potentially taking, so that I can watch the price action on this candlestick and either take a break of that or a break of that and then take that reversal. I want this to be at a level that makes logical sense. So if there is a nice resistance or support level and I'm seeing a price action candlestick pattern forming here, which is an inside bar, I'm looking for a break short on it. Or if it's going to break out, I'm looking for a break long on it. So it's basically when you get to a point where you are stopping that movement, you stop and you pause. Yeah. So a 2 up, which is a higher high, higher low, followed by a 2 up, 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 means you're constantly in a trend to the upside. At some point, you're going to stop. You're going to pause. So you'll either pause with indecision, creating an outside bar, a 3, or you'll pause with an inside bar, a 1. But either way, it creates a 3-1 pattern or a 2-1 pattern. And that is always the pause before that reversal comes back down. So what this does is every time there is a 3-1, 2-1 setup on a 5 or a 15-minute time frame, yeah, it just alerts me and tells me, literally. And then I look at the chart and go, oh, yeah, a resistance, yeah, brilliant, take it. If not, no. And you just literally click on each of these, it takes you straight to the candlestick pattern, and it even illustrates it on the chart. So there's a 2-1 down. Yeah, symmetrical triangle, break. To the downside, target, stop. That's all I trade. From discretion points of view, but I want it to be at support resistance, and this is at support and resistance. Look at this resistance. Previous support, broke, resistance. We've got an indecision candle followed by an indecision candle. We're either going to break out of this resistance or we're not. That's the trade I want to take. There is a reason for the market to do something at this level. Yeah. So you don't take every signal, you just watch them. It also tells you, and this is part of Rob Smith's stuff, which I don't pay any attention to personally, but people that trade this in his way do. They're looking for what's called full time frame continuity, which is basically you can select that and say, I want all of the daily, the weekly, and the monthly current bars to be in agreement. So on the weekly time frame, let's use this US dollar Swiss, yeah. So on the weekly time frame, we are currently bull. Yeah. On the daily time frame, we are currently bull. Sorry, weekly time frame and monthly. I'm doing it the wrong way around. It's because I don't trade this stuff. But monthly is bullish, weekly is bullish, daily is bullish. What sort of setups do you think you should be looking for here? Probably better, isn't it? Yeah. So if the month's up, the week's up, the day's up, market's going up. Yeah. So just look for when you get these patterns. So US dollar Swiss is bull, bull, bull. On the 15-minute chart, we've had a break like that. A setup like that, which is a 2-1 setup, which is an inside bar formation. And if that was at this support or this previous resistance turn support, I'd be interested in longing it. But because we are bull, I'm not that interested in shorting the market. But what it does is it allows you to see what is in play at the moment. And if this now does this and then that, I'd be interested in that because that's a 3-bar reversal at previous support. Yeah. So it makes you focus on price action at the right levels. And it also has, it tells you where you are in relation to yesterday's high, last week's high, and last month. Sorry, there's all the alerts going off. So obviously it draws in the new ones. But it tells you where you are in relation to yesterday, last week, and last month. So if you're taking trades, and part of what they do in this strat, which I don't do, is the mean reversion trades. What they're looking for is what they call, I call it an expanding wedge, but they call it, I can't remember what they call it. Someone should know this. I don't know. I can't remember what they call it, but it's an expanding wedge pattern, basically. You know, when you get a high, a low, a high, a low. So you got a couple of trend lines and you're bouncing off of those. I can't remember. It's gone completely from my brain. I was only looking at it the other day. But they trade those sorts of patterns. So if you are getting a signal to go short, yeah, what you want is to be above yesterday's high or above last week's high or above last month's high, depending on the time frames that you are trading. Yeah. So if you're looking for that type of price action, obviously, let's say that's one day, that's another day there, that's another day there, that's another day in the middle, and then you've got another day up here, making this expanding pattern. You need to be above yesterday's high. Yeah. So either above high, below high, or within yesterday's range to make a decision. That's all that bit is telling you. I don't use it. But that's what the data is. And you can just filter for as many of these different patterns as you like. And obviously, the more you select, the more you're going to get. Yeah. And that's the lot. And you can configure the whole thing to do what you like. And obviously, it draws everything on the chart for you as well. So I built this basically. It's kind of what I've been using anyway, but I've built it for someone else that wanted it. And And the reason I did this is because I love the strategy as well. I believe in the strategy. It's price action trading, which is, what you need to do. Every single indicator on the planet lags price. What doesn't lag price? Price. It's the only indicator on the planet that does not lag price. Yeah, there's a great example of a trade there. A 2-1 up break. Stop below the low, break above the high, off you go. Yeah, you got another one there, look. 2-1 break. Stop below the low, break above the high. Off you go. When you get this 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, pause, it's either going to be a 2 up continuation or a 2 down reversal. That's all that can happen. You're either going to get a 2 up candle or you're going to get a 2 down candle, because when you pause on a symmetrical triangle, it will break one way or the other. The other thing you can have happening here is a 2-1-1, which is a 2 inside bar, which is one of Larry Connor's patterns. Or you can get a 2-1-3, which is an outside bar on the 1, which is indecision followed by indecision. Then you wait for the next candle to give you the direction for price, and you take that. Yeah. So all it's doing is it's just alerting you and saying, go and look at this chart because there is a... It's a great little dashboard. But it's for MT4 or MT5, whichever you want. Yeah, they're both on the marketplace. Where's my images? Weird. So they're both on the marketplace if you want them. Yeah. But yeah, that's all they are. I say that's all they are. It's a pretty decent dash, I think. But and also you can hide it as well. So obviously if you want to analyze the chart, you've got this whacking great dashboard in the way. So the idea is you just flick into it, have a look. Anything I like? No, don't fancy that one. Go down to the next one. Anything I like? Don't fancy that one. Next one. And obviously, depending on what time frames you're monitoring, and you can configure all of this to be whatever you want. You can do specific symbols, use the market watch. So this is monitoring everything. You select which time frames you want to choose. You select what time frames you want to see for your higher time frame confluence. You can configure all the colors and alerts and usual stuff. There you go. Stopped out of gold. Going to stop out on the Nasdaq as well. It's not a good day today. We're not going anywhere, are we? Dow's not going anywhere either. That's a shame because we made a load of money this morning on the gold trades, but market's not working today. Stopped out on Nasdaq. So yeah, see, we've got a break short on the Nas potentially. Not been here for a while. Are you trading gold again? Not now. I just finished. Is there a way to backtest it? No, it's an indicator. It's for MT4 and MT5. Good to see your new stuff on MQL5. Will you publish ORB? No, I'm not doing any EAs on MT5 anymore. Indicators only. How's the P&L for the year looking? Good. Very good, actually. It wasn't, but it is now. We've had a really good run on ORB, so and we were doing today. I've had a decent amount from prop this year as well. So we're doing this at the moment. We covered the multi-account approach today in the member streams. So I've had decent money from prop this year as well. I say decent, not. I'm still sitting here doing this. Yeah. So it's not enough money for me to not work anymore. But this is work, but not. I'm not making 6 figures, put it that way. The guys that are making 6 figures have usually got 7 figures to play with. So whatever account size you've got, make sure you take a naught off the end of it. That's all you're ever going to get. Does the strat have notification? Yeah. Did you not see it continuously pinging? Okay. Gold, M15, 2 up, 2 up. Up on that. Not that I trade those. So these are much better, obviously. The higher the time frame you go, look at that symmetrical triangle pattern. That has got the potential for a 2IB, which is a 1, a 2, 1, 1. So an inside bar on an inside bar, which is a lower time frame symmetrical triangle contraction. So if you drop down into the 15 or the 5-minute time frame, what we're doing is contracting. You can't contract forever. That break is what the symmetrical triangle indicator tells you. So the symmetrical triangle indicator shows you where to break those trades, where to take those trades from. There's very few patterns and price action strategies that work in trading. There's a million people teaching you a million things on YouTube, but at the end of the day, not actually that much really that you can do, is there? Because like I said, the price goes up, it goes down, it moves through time, and there's only 3 ways it goes. So, if you're trading price action, there's not a lot you can really do. God, this is going to be a whitewash today. I was hoping to get one of my evaluations over the line today, but that ain't going to happen now, especially if this breaks long and gold breaks long. I want this to break short. I want both of these to break short, and I want that to break short. But it's not. For the price action strategies, does higher time frame still do better than lower time frame? Yes and no. Price is fractal, so you've got less chop on this time frame than you have on the 15-minute time frame, obviously. So when I'm trading discretionary, I like to be sitting up around about the hourly time frames, because the danger being down here, as you will probably know, is you will get a million signals. And because you're getting a million signals, it will prompt you to take a million trades. When you sit on the higher time frames, you take less signals. They are more confirmed by more parties over a longer period of time. Therefore, when the moves happen, they tend to be more prolonged. Yeah. But the price action is the same on all time frames, isn't it? Yeah. So there's, the same thing happens on all time frames. This time frame, you're going to take a lot less trades on, because you've only got 24 candles in a day to give you a signal. Yeah. 5-minute time frame, I've just got 3 signals arrived at the same time. Look, Euro CAD, 2 down, 1. So that is a break short continuation, or a break long reversal up into there, or continuation down into wherever. But there's no reason to take a long there at all. Just nothing there. So I'm not interested in long in that. Higher time frame on that is bear. It's got higher time frame continuation, higher time frame confluence. So yeah, it's a short. There's the short break. So you take a short, you stop there, and you aim for. There's nothing to aim for on this one, so you just aim for whatever you can. I don't like the way they teach the strat. They teach you to target the low of the previous candle or the low of the previous whatevers, and I'm risk reward. As long as it's a positive R, and I think it can get there. There's a prime example of a trade that you don't take. Yeah, Christmas trees. Is there any directional bias whatsoever? No, not interested. Move on. Oil. Now, I would have taken that long if it had broken long, but it didn't, so I'm not interested. If you are interested, you can take that short with the stop above the high there, and I would target this low. The risk reward you can get on these 5-minute time frames, brilliant, aren't they? But it's very high risk, because you're going to get a lot of wicks, a lot of chop. There's a beautiful 2-1-2 down. Yeah, but was there a reason to take that? That's a debatable, isn't it? I mean, that is in that resistance zone. So, you know, this is where your discretion comes in. This is a completely discretionary strategy, by the way. There's no rules to it. Yeah. This dashboard is signaling we're contracting, we're stopping, we're slowing down. Do you fancy taking a trade on this? Yeah. So you're in the area where we're expecting a stall out and possible reversal. So you'd only be looking for shorts. And in this case, obviously, that was the trade entry. That was the stop loss. And you're in for 1.5 hours at the moment. That's all you do. Yeah, it's all prices, isn't it? Price is movement. Yeah, it's binary. Moves up, moves down, moves through time. It can do one of three things. Your job is to wrap risk around price and let price move. If price moves in your direction, you take a higher R than your risk and you make money. That's literally what trading is, isn't it? There is nothing else to it. We have no control over the direction. We have no way of forecasting when something is going to change direction. We have no way of forecasting how much bank movement is coming in the next 5 minutes, 5 hours, or 5 years. And all we can do is basically see something on a chart and go, every time I've seen that before, there's a chance it goes the other way. I'll wrap a risk around it of 1, and I'll try and make more than 1. All this is doing is saying there's some opportunities to make some 1s. That's it, isn't it? It's the simplest form of trade, isn't it? Okay, we are possibly breaking short gold. Obviously, we are very extended at the moment on gold anyway. I was just trying to find gold to switch to it. That was the long-winded way of, instead of doing that, I was trying to do that. But obviously we are very, very extended at the moment on gold today. We've already had ADR hit. Let's probably do it on a proper chart with proper indicators on it. So obviously we've done ADR today already. But if you switch your ADR to 5, 3, 3. So that's a 4-hour chart. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you switch to ADR 5, yeah, that's going to give you a more realistic view of the average movement on gold over the last 5 days since we've had the expanded volatility come in at the end of this squeeze. So your ADR 5 is covering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this small day and the average of these large days that we've had, that bear in mind that was a 300 ADR, 250 ADR day yesterday. That is your average daily range over the last recent volatile price action. So it has actually got downside still before it reaches ADR, and it's got upside as well. The thing that worries me is all these upside targets at the moment on it. But everything else, ADR 10, but there's an argument for using ADR 5 on gold at the moment just to measure that volatility a bit more accurately. Didn't quite trigger short on gold. So Nasdaq's a double stop out today. So that third one, we're going to need to get down to target to pay for itself. Gold is a single stop out to the upside. We've had 2 wins on it already. So if this breaks down, that'll be a nice profit today. Dow first trade short, we're still in. So the day's not a washout yet. If we break short on all the indices, we've got a good chance. Let's have a quick look at where we're going. So if we are going to break down, we're breaking straight down into support. Literally breaking straight down into support. So we're going to find, obviously, some these guys that put this propulsion move in yesterday and broke out, on Monday. They're potentially going to rebuy this level. But if not, I'd be looking for push down into that area there. that high as well. So somewhere here, good target for the downside on the NASDAQ. We've already broken short, NASDAQ short. Gold. Globex low on gold. Obviously, this is the low. This is the low of the new potential bear run. So I mean, you could easily exceed that today, easily. Did yesterday and did day before. So and Dow downsides. We've got this potential. Again, same as the NASDAQ, we're selling into potential upside resistance. That is your previous resistance turns support. So this whole area of accumulation here is what we broke long. This is where the buyers will be sitting. If we break that, we've got a good potential break all the way down to here today. Say it's not really getting anywhere at the moment, is it? We are breaking short. No news coming in, so just the market waking up finally. So we'll see if we can get some shorts on. So price action toolkit along with that dashboard would be a good setup. Yeah. Yeah. Can you automate the strat to take trades? You can do. You could build an EA for it, yeah. It's a discretionary strategy, though. I don't know how you'd automate it because you need to be able to read price action. So if you automate this, you've got to be able to give it a way to say, only take trades at levels I find interesting. What you find interesting, what I find interesting, or what the guy next to you finds interesting is different. You could say only daily highs, weekly highs, that sort of thing. But support resistance is discretionary. So you could automate it. I could automate a way to trade it, yeah. But whether or not you could make it profitable, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, we could do. So price action called, yeah. So price action toolkit, obviously you have in the price action toolkit, wrong website. You have inputs for candlestick patterns. So the price action toolkit already identifies it actually only does 2 IBs, doesn't it? Two inside bars. It doesn't do inside bars. So you can auto trade 2 IBs. A 2 IB is basically either a 3 or a 2 followed by a 1. A 2 IB is a 3 or a 2 followed by a 1 followed by a 1. That's a 2 IB setup. You break that or you break that. But obviously from a risk perspective, you would just need to set the obviously the inputs for stop loss, take profit, depending on the instrument. So, I mean, the way that I use the price action toolkit is when I'm ready to take a trade, I will use the measuring tool and measure the distance. So that's like 87. So I'd say, let's say, for example, I'm taking this 15-minute euro pound. Yep. So let's say, for example, I'm taking this. We would nothing really to take on it at the moment, but let's say I'm taking it long, and I want to put my stop loss under here. I would basically just measure that. 59 pips. On the price action toolkit, I would put in there 590 or 59, depending on which broker I'm using. And then just hit the buy button, basically. But the beauty of the price action toolkit is this, the whole purpose of it is this. It's being able to instantly modify your TP, your stop loss, move to break even average with multiples on, put a sell stop and a buy stop above and below the last candles. So that's the exact feature that you want, is basically when you see that setup. Yeah, that's not a great one because the candle's quite high on it. But that one there, so you got the signal on that closer candle. The candle was sitting there. So you instantly on that price action toolkit hit the buy pending, the sell pending, and it'll instantly set those orders for you straight away with whatever risk parameters you have. So in that case, what I would do is I would measure the height of that candle, which is 69. And I would say I want a 69 stop loss, pending long, pending short. Doesn't matter which way it goes. I'm either going to break out with a stop there or I'm going to break out with a stop there. If it does that and gives me a 3 candle next, an outside bar and an inside bar, I'm going to stop out on both. But typically you wouldn't take both directions. What I would rather see is price getting up to here, middle of that propulsion gap, and then I would like to see a 2 inside bar set up so I could short it. Yeah, there's no reason to go long or short. If you want to, I mean, and these are going to play out a lot of the time. Yeah. So, whenever you get a 2 and a 1, there's a good chance it will break one way or the other rather than giving you a 3. Don't forget, there's only 3 things that can happen. Yeah. You can either have the next candlestick after this 2-1 setup can either be a 2 up, which means it never breaks that low, a 2 down, which means it never breaks that high, or a 3, which means it breaks the high and the low. So if you think about it, there's 3 outcomes. 2 of them make you money. 1 of them, the outside bar, loses you money twice. So you're going to either have 2 stop outs or you're going to have a clean break. So if you on those clean breaks, you can make a 2R or more, you can pretty much trade every 2-1 or 3-1 that you find. Because the odds of getting a 3 after a 1 are less. If I turn the entire dashboard on, I haven't got a 1-3 because it's not a setup. So if I put them all on, we'll be able to see if there is any 1-3s. There's a 1-2 there, look. So you want to find a 1 in the first column. There's a 1-2. There's a 1-2. It's going to give me loads of signals because I've got everything turned on. There's a 1-3 on there. So the NASDAQ on the hourly is a 1-3. Yeah. So out of all of this here, the number of times out of all of these, we've had an inside bar followed by an outside bar. Yeah. A 2 followed by a 1 followed by a 3. Once out of all that lot. Doesn't happen very often. They don't clear the decks of the highs and the lows after a 2-1 or a 3-1 setup because it's contraction. So after contraction, you get expansion. So it normally picks a direction because it's an accumulation period, isn't it? Yeah. There's one there. Look, a 2-1-3 happened again. But why did that happen? Because it's the Globex session. What happens in Globex? Nothing. Goes sideways. So yeah, there's a high probability when the Globex session is trading that it'll go nothing because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't move, does it? This is why we wait for the open because that's when the volume comes in. Breaking short nicely. Nice. So clean breaks on all 3 to the downside now. So there you go. Anyway. Brian, there's a ton of people on YouTube teaching strategies. How many lose their hands in their face? Only the AI ones. I can't do it because I'm not AI. It's like teaching, teaching strategies. Like I've said many, many times on stream. You can read every book under the sun, and that will make you incredibly knowledgeable. But it doesn't make you any good at what you're knowledgeable in, right? So you can have people that are amazing. Crude oil inventories have just come out. People that are amazing politicians and they're really good at their job. You stick them in the prime minister's chair and they're crap. They know everything there is to know about politics, but they can't do it. Yeah. You teach someone price action on YouTube by watching 10,000 videos from 15 different YouTubers. They become a super expert in price action, but that doesn't mean that you can trade it, because the psychological part of it is not teachable. That is either in you or it's not in you. And if it's not in you, you need to get it in you. And if that's not able to, doesn't matter what strategy you use, does it? None of it's going to work. Yeah. Discipline. So, you know, the strategy is fantastic. I've just shown you loads of opportunities and ways to trade candlestick patterns. But you can guarantee that 90% of people will go out and get it all wrong, because they'll get frustrated and they'll go, oh, I'm just going to take that next one that comes up because the last two failed. Well, there's no reason to take it, is there? You've got to be patient. And this is the problem. Patience is a very, very difficult thing to do in trading, because you need to make money. And also, you want to stop, don't you? You want to be done in an hour. That's what we want. All of us. Me included. But when the market does this, I have no choice. I have to watch this now. Babysit this. But yeah, there's a lot of people. If you want to know more about the strat, there's loads of people teach the strat. There's a lady called Sarah Strat Sniper. Obviously, Rob Smith, although I'm not even sure he actually streams or anything anymore. There's quite a few people trade the strat, but all they are price action traders. That's it. You're literally trading inside bar breaks. There's tons and tons and tons of patterns, but realistically, you will trade 2 or 3. Yeah. Find what works for you. If you're the type of guy that loves trends, you do not want to be trading any 3-2s or 3 1s or 2 1s. You want to be trading probably 2 downs and 2 ups, because what you're going to be looking for is 2 downs followed by a 2 up. Yeah. After it's done that, you're going to be looking for a 2 down, 2 up, because that's a pullback signal to go long. Yeah, so you'll be looking for a 2 down, 2 up continuation if you're a trend trader. So you'll be trading those. If you are also a trend trader, you may be trading those because you're looking for stuff that is trending at the moment. And what you're looking to do is monitor for trends. If you've got a 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, like we have at the moment on the Swiss yen on multiple time frames, yeah, you're waiting for a pullback on it. So basically, you're looking for, where do we break out? When you get back into that area, drop down onto a lower time frame. This is a 5-minute chart, but drop down onto a lower time frame, and then look for those entries for those continuations. So, you know, price action is king. Price action leads every indicator on the planet. Yeah, there's nothing that beats price action. That will all clear in a minute. Oh, I've got 2 ups. So DAX, we're contracting. S&P 500, there's a 2 inside bar. So we're massively bearish. So we're contracting down here, and we're either going to pull back or we're going to continue. So if you think we're going to continue, you break short. If you think we're going to pull back, you break long. But look for a reason. There's no reason to do that. There is a reason to do that. There's a much bigger reason to do that. So it's told me to go and look at the chart. I'd rather take it short. Anyway, go and learn about it. It's a good strategy, but all it is price action. It's very easy to learn, but it's very complicated to learn the way they do it. If you want to get into this whole thing with the full time frame confluence continuation or whatever it's called, and the expanding wedges, expanding ranges, what are they called? I've got to look it up. It's driving me nuts. Something to do with formation, broadening formations. Yeah. So if you want to trade broadening formations, which is where the market is expanding, I call it an expanding wedge because it's more logical for me. But if you want to trade broadening formations, you need to be aware of where you are in relation to yesterday, in last week and last month. So if you're trading on the hourly time frame, you probably want to be paying attention to last week and yesterday. If you're trading on the 4-hour or daily time frames, you want to be interested in where we are in relation to last week and last month, because you're trading high time frames. Yeah. If you're a trend trader and you're only looking for pullback continuations, you want to be trading with full time frame continuity. I don't care. I just want to trade price action. When it looks like it's stalling out at support and resistance, I'm interested. That's literally all I do with it. So it's very different, but it's very complicated, their way of doing it. In your opinion, is this the correct ADR setting? ADR 10 weekly, 10 daily, 12 weekly, and 12 monthly. Yes. So I have that set up on my dash. So I trade. Oh no, I don't. No, sorry, I don't. I've got this set up still from Trump. Look, to be honest, I don't. I mean, I personally don't pay much attention to weekly and monthly ranges. From a position trading perspective, I'm usually already in by the time these signal. Yeah, so if you're manually trading, but yeah, if you go, that's the default 10, 12, 12. I changed this because obviously when Trump started the trade wars, I changed it to be, I want to be looking at what's going on in the last couple of weeks and the last month. I'm not interested in what we were doing 6 months ago because it's totally irrelevant. Now it is better to go back to defaults. So, but yeah, 10, 12, 12. As I say, I don't use these. I got asked to add these in by someone ages ago, because there are people that trade position trading and they wait for, because they're trading higher time frames, they're trading hourly and 4-hourly. What they do is they use, instead of ADR for entries, they use AWR for entries and AMR for entries. So after we've pushed by the middle of month to sort of maybe the third week of the month, if we've done our average monthly range, or by Wednesday, maybe Thursday, we've done our average weekly range, you're likely to get a pullback because we are extended beyond what we normally do in a week. Therefore, we're expecting a profit take. Same with a month, we're expecting a profit take. Yeah. So these are for higher time frame traders, whereas I don't do that. So more interested in right here, right now. S&P's dropped, Nasdaq's dropped. Should hit target on the Nasdaq soon. Haven't got the targets drawn in, but I must be getting close to target. Let me just quickly, just want to see where the targets are to the downside. So close. We're target is 24893. So literally, that is partial profit take there, roughly. That's where I don't like it. After this many bear candles and obviously rejection looking like it's starting to come in, you just kind of want to take partials on stuff. Decisions. Cool. Let me just catch up on chat. Need a Trumpy, eh? Only takes trades when he tweets. Yeah, that'd be nice. He doesn't even tweet anymore, does he? Gold is testing low of day. Sorry, it's not testing low of day. It's testing, well, yeah, kind of low of day. I'm potentially going to shut that NASDAQ. Yeah, I'm getting out of the NASDAQ. It's been dropping for 25 minutes. It's due a pullback. The Dow has been very nice, orderly market structure. So it's not due a pullback. It should be due a continuation. So I'm happy to stay short on that. Gold, obviously, this is a heavy rejection point from earlier, which is where we stopped out with that 3-bar reversal today on the drop at London. So this is potentially also kind of a low. So I'm going to take it off there. Just don't like it at the moment down here. We're massively volatile at the moment on gold. What I don't want is this just to come up and stop me out for a second time. I've made a nice profit on it today. It stopped me out once, and that gets me back that loss plus about 0.25%. So for me, that's a winning symbol today. That is just about a winning symbol. So I'm relying on the Dow to take me over the line, basically. It's a positive day regardless. But one account just can't seem to make money on. Yeah. It's unfortunate, that NASDAQ short. That NASDAQ stop out, unfortunate. So gold's continuing, probably the wrong decision. This good chance this is going to come down, but I just, the speed of that V-shaped recovery and the fact that they bought it back before the open, just not worth taking a risk on, is it? I'd rather get out there with a profitable day than get out there with a losing day. Yeah, it's just, there's too much support in the way. Dow, though, we've got plenty of downside on the Dow. It's the one with the most downside today if it gets through this accumulation. So if we can get through there, we've got an easy target, I think, today. I'll let that run, see if we can get some money out of that. Did you automate your Trader8 terminal? Yep. It takes ORBs without me. I did. Do you do partial TP on the pip or at the candle close on the pip? I used to do it on the candle close. But I kind of like doing it on the pip. I'll give you an example. Yesterday on, was it yesterday on gold? Or the day before? No, it was the day before. No, sorry, it was yesterday. Yesterday morning, look, here. Right? My EA setup, the morning version of the EA, which runs alongside the DAX, I had it set to close at candle close. Target was here. So it closed me there because it was set to close. It was set to close on close of candle. Yeah. On my other terminal, which was set to close on pip, that was the trade profit. On this terminal, that was the trade profit. Much better. But the annoying thing is, and I do get it, when it comes down and does that and closes here, you don't get the profit. So there's an argument for both. But I'm using on pip now. So that rejection looking like it might stick. So what we're getting here at the moment is 2 down, 1. On a 1 minute chart, that is a symmetrical triangle break long at support. Watching the consolidation to the left on the 15-minute Nasdaq. Yeah. It's just this whole thing is, but that's the Globex session. So I mean, that's just yesterday's Globex, isn't it? But we broke high yesterday. That's why I kind of took that off there. If we're going to push higher and gold is going to push lower, so if gold pushes lower, we are going higher on the indices in all likelihood. That's the turning point, isn't it? So gold is at the point where it's either going to break new lows on the day and drop, or it's not. If it does, that's likely to happen, isn't it? You never know. Could go either way. I don't care. I'm out. And I'm still in the Dow. There you go, gold, new low of the day. So that was a wrong call on gold. It's going down. So yeah, watch these indices. They might find a little bit of support here. Wait a minute. When you exit trades on MT5, it exits on Tradeovate. Trade copier. We covered it today. If you're a member of the... If you're a member, we covered it today. I give away all the trade secrets in the members streams. Arr, I sound like a pirate then, didn't I? In the back tests on candle close is better though. It is, yeah. Yeah. This is the whole thing. This is what robustness testing is all about, and this is why I keep going on about robustness testing. Whether you close here, 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 or here is irrelevant. If closing at all of those levels makes profit, all of them, that's a robust strategy. If only closing on pip works and closing on candle close doesn't make profit, the strategy as a whole is not robust. Yeah. So, you can't say I need to get in here with exactly 1.5 R on my stop of 1. And if only that works and 1.25 and 1 doesn't work and 1.75 and 2 doesn't work, it's only that works and none of these levels work. That is not a robust strategy. That is curve fit to that exact market condition in the past that you've tested your account over. Yeah, that will never work in the future. So, but in this case, the testing that I've done, closing on when you actually hit the partial and closing beyond the partial on candle close, both work. But you have to test it on tick. You cannot do it on control points. You cannot do it on open prices. You've got to do it on tick because it needs to know every tick within that candle to know whether or not it's hit that line. Gold's flushing further. Shouldn't have got out. Come on, Dow. Help me, Dow. You're my only hope. So market structure pullback in play. Either that or it's just really going to pop. Watch the NASDAQ. Want to see the NASDAQ rejecting here? We're in a propulsion gap. So you want to see selling pressure here. That low, and this propulsion move. You need additional sellers in here to continue a short today. If they're not there anymore, we're going to come straight back up and retest those highs, which means the Dow will pop back up as well. But the Dow has got upside resistance, which has already been in play today. So that should hopefully hold. Don't like this though. That's indicative of indices up. Scalp the bounce on the NASDAQ. Cool, well done. Gold will probably reject 4,000. Probably. Big round numbers tend to reject. Got a long way to go. Can't even see it. Look. That is what it's rejected already. Look. That was what we rejected earlier today. Yeah. Not to the pip, but it's close enough. If they're buying at 4,000 and there's enough people to buy it at round about 4,000, it's never going to hit it to the pip. If we break 4,000 though, you're going to flush straight down into there. Probably very quickly as well, I would say. Today, there's enough room today. 5-day ADR is somewhere around about here today. So that's easily within range of the current volatility that we've got. Be looking down there. But it's got to get through here first. And we've got some buyers holding. There's an iceberg sort of holding this area at the minute. But if that breaks, you've got a nice easy flush today. There's a 30-minute just gone in on the US dollar CAD. So when you're looking at these as well, another good thing to look for is propulsion to the upside. So if you've got an upside propulsion gap, yeah, what market will often do is pull back into propulsion and continue. So you can take a break there into propulsion. So you're on a 30-minute chart at the moment. So if you look at the high of that candle there, and you look at the low of that candle there, that is your propulsion gap. So drop down onto the 5-minute time frame. Yeah. And if you pull back into here and then suddenly put in some kind of reversal, that's where you're looking to go. So you can take this with a much better risk reward straight up into that propulsion gap on a higher time frame. There you go. That's exactly same thing. Inside bar. So you got again double top. Inside bar rejection, take a break of that low. Stop above that high. If you want to be conservative, stop above that high. Target to the downside. Where's the nearest propulsion gap? There. There's also a very small one here. And there's also a very small one here. 3 propulsion gaps to the downside. But if your risk is that, and that's your closest propulsion move, that's a 1-to-1. Stop to break even, go for the 1-to-2. Go for the 1-to-3. Go for the lows, double bottom low. Assume we're going to form a range for the day, go into rotation. I have no idea what's going to happen, but you have to have a reason to enter a trade, and a pause in price action after a rally is it's as good a reason as you're going to get to take a trade. And this is why I love these time frames, 30-minute and hourly, because the price action is so more smoothed out, so much clearer where you're headed. You get a bigger picture of what's going on. Be watching this area here. Why? Because it's a propulsion move through that high. Failed with a 3-bar reversal, came down, retested the lows, pushed up, slammed through it, came back down. Potentially you might find a sticky point there. So if you're in here with a stop loss there, when it gets down to there, free trade. If that bounce is going to work, you're going to get a flag continuation. Get out. But you get out with a break even. Doesn't cost you any money, does it, to take that? There we go. We're bouncing off the lows. So there's a 3-bar reversal going in potentially down here on gold, which is good because it means the Dow should be able to drop further. Fingers crossed. That's really rallying, isn't it? So watching this area here, but that's already far surpassed what you'd expect for market structure shorts. We shouldn't really break that high if we're going to continue structure to the downside. So we're looking at this area to hold. Then we're looking at this area as your last chance. And it's a stop out. Have you ever figured out propulsion gap indicator for MT5? I gave up. MT5's GUI is just not geared for it. So what I've decided to do with the support resistance propulsion for MT5, it's okay, but it's really, really laggy. The MT4 version obviously is instant. Yeah, so the propulsion gaps are drawn in, you change chart, the propulsion gaps are there before the chart even loads, before my buttons even load. Yeah, it's instant. This is what it should be like on MT5, but it's not. So I've done a reconversion of this entire file into MT5 to try and find the problem with it in MT5. And I can't see any issues. It's just that the graphical user interface is like a slug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip the whole thing back to its original components, and I'm going to build it from the ground up on MT5 again. It's not a small job because I can't convert it. This is the problem with MT4 to MT5 conversions. A lot of the time it's very straightforward. Sometimes though, it's not. And when it's not, it's usually because the massive differences in the graphical user interface with MT5 and MT4. So if you've got a high dependency graphical indicator, so something that is dependent on drawing a lot of stuff, that's where MT5 dies. MT4 just goes, yeah, whatever. Chuck a million things at it and it just goes fine. Because it is just brilliant at plotting. MT5 is brilliant at looking great, but it's not great at plotting. So I'm going to strip it back and I'm going to start with just the propulsion indicator part of the script. So I'm going to strip everything out and just leave in the propulsion gap, load it, see where the issues are with that, if there are any, and fix those, and then build back on top. So I'll build in the support resistance lines, then I'll build in the timer, then I'll build in that, then I'll build in, well, I don't need the trade plotting because that's done by MT5 built in now, isn't it? You don't need trade plotting anymore. So yeah, it's all the bits and pieces. I've just got to spend some time on it. And the break-even line's easy to do. Support resistance line's easy to do. Timer's easy, that's easy. But there's something to do with the way that these all interact together is what causes the problem. So I thought if I start there, which is the problem, every time I add something on, I'll be able to see what is causing the problem, and then I can figure it out from there. But I have tried, I've spent days on it. It's one of those things with coding, you go down a little rabbit hole. So I thought, I know, I'll get AI to have a look at it for me. Yeah, because it's brilliant at some things. Not so brilliant at a lot of other things I found out. And it got to the point where it would recode it and go, I know what the problem is. And then you'd put it on the chart and it would be an atom mess. So it would fix the problem of the propulsion gaps redrawing themselves, but then they wouldn't change color and they'd paint all the way to the end instead of turning gray. So I said, but you've broken the functionality that we have to identify when a propulsion gap breaks. Oh yeah, okay, I'll fix that. And it put it back and I was like, oh, brilliant, that works. And then it would start all redrawing again. So what it's done is it's created a bug by fixing a bug, and then it put the bug back that it fixed before and created the bug it had originally. And you end up going in an endless loop. Despair. And I've tried it with Claude. I've tried it with GPT 4.1 and 4.5. And 5. And if Claude can't fix it, you know it's buggered. So yeah, just it needs rebuilding. I'll get there. It is on my list, but the trouble is now I'm running the MST Academy live 3 times a week. I'm losing 3 days a week basically for coding and for strategy development, which I mean, there's not much strategy development, to be honest, that I need to do. But yeah, I will get there. Promise. It's on my list. In fact, it's probably next on my list at the moment. So yeah, I might have a crack at it tomorrow. Right, I'm going to call it a day today, I think. So yeah, mediocre day today. Good day, profitable overall, very profitable. Marginally profitable, I would say. So stop out, paid, stop out, paid. Nice profit there. That's the only chance we've got today. So although we've had multiple stop outs today, the accounts are actually even because of that lovely gold trade today. So this is basically paid for everything. But if you didn't take that one this morning, this afternoon's a bit of a washout, isn't it, at the minute? But we have this opportunity on Dow. So if we do get a nice continuation break short on the Dow, that will be where the majority of this afternoon's profit will come from. But otherwise, choppy old sesh today. But hey, part of the game, innit? So bear in mind tomorrow, obviously there's no news. So markets will probably be fairly flattish tomorrow. Friday, all hell breaks loose. So on Friday, basically, we're going to be covering the strategies for futures. So going to be going through future strategies. That is actual trade strategies and risk strategies. And then Friday, I'm back as normal for the 2:30 session for Nasdaq Dow Gold, same as this one. And then Friday afternoon, we've got the weekly Q&A. Again, there's no questions at the moment. So what I'm probably going to do, because nobody's asking any questions, is I'm going to scrap these weekly ones because we're not using them. And it's great because we're going to have an early Friday afternoon. So unless there's a load of questions suddenly come in, don't go and make a load of questions. But if there is, obviously we'll do the session. If not, I think we're just going to get rid of those, because what I can do is Q&As during the lessons that we do the live streams with the Zooms. So that's probably the easiest thing to do. So there we go. Have fun. And obviously, by the way, this is all free now to everybody, in case you didn't know. So you do not have to be signed in. Yeah. So basically, you can access all of this now without being logged in. So you don't have to register. You don't have to do anything. You can get access all of this, all the free stuff anyway, without having to. I've got to fix that bug. Currency strength. Sometimes it doesn't load. You have to hit refresh and it loads. There's a little lag there somewhere. So you can access all of this now without being logged in. So obviously all the pro stuff and the MST Academy, the MetaTrader Builder, all the not decent stuff. It's all decent, isn't it? But all the labor-intensive stuff for me, that is all still chargeable. So you can just upgrade to pro membership if you want, which is 50 quid. But all this is all accessible now, so you don't have to leave and log in. So if you want correlation analysis, if you want the dynamic calendar, all the fundamental data analysis is all in there. It's all accessible. Don't have to be logged in. We've now got this guest user, which you can be. And we now have a bot, the AI trading assistant, who you can say, what's this all about? And you'll go, this page is all about blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So you've got a little AI helper there now, which basically tells you everything about everything. One of the good things you can use this for, this AI helper, is if you go to something like currency strength, give me some trading strategies to use with this information. Can't even type. And he'll give you some ideas on how to use it, which is great, because obviously it's got to get this bug fixed. Seems on first load for some reason it doesn't want to load properly. But anyway, but yeah, it'll give you not only what this information is, but it'll tell you ways that you can actually use this in your trading. Yeah, so use that. AI Trading Assistant. He's handy. He's running on a very low AI model, so it only cost me like 5 cents, 0.05 cents a question, or 10 questions or something, basically. So it's not the most clever AI in the world, is what I'm trying to say. It's not the same as the one that's in the MetaTrader Builder. That's not a cheap AI. But your little bot here, if you've got any questions like on anything here, we've got obviously the videos, which explain it. And then we've got the help section, which gives you an overview. But obviously, if you want specific questions asked and it knows what page you're on about that particular page and that content, you can now do that as well. So you can go and have a play with him. See if you can ask him some stupid questions and send me screenshots if you get him to give me stupid answers, and I will train him a little bit better. All right, so back on Friday. Anything you need, I'll be in Discord or Telegram. Other than that, have a good day. Hope it's been profitable, and I will see you next time.